think we do it this way. Hi, welcome. It is the Unitarian Universalist service of Zurich online. And I am Susan Maud, your host and lay-led service provider today. Okay, so anyway, we are here actually not in Switzerland, we're in the USA, Morgantown, West Virginia, and I'm at a Unitarian Universalist building here. We had a bad storm last night, so I got started late, getting unpacked and everything, and I still don't have power where I live, but I don't know about some of the other places. Here, we seem to have power at this building, so that's exciting, something already. And anyway, let's get started. So I have some things I'm going to be doing while the service is going on. Today's service is a continuation of what I started last week, which was general welfare. And so to start the service, I want to just add a little candlelight, which is extra meaningful right now because of the storm. So I still have to bring in some things and plug in some electronics. So I'm going to, I guess, play a little music for a second while I do a few things, and then I'll be back. Where is it? So enjoy the candle right now while I do a few things, and I'll be back. I did bring some flowers. This is called Return to Innocence.
With over 2 billion monthly users, YouTube ads makes it...
That's an ad for YouTube ads. Alrighty. So, hi. Well, this is fun. Got a little bit of candle, a little bit of flour, a little bit of me. Or humans, I should say. Let's see. Alright. So, I'll try to squeeze in the middle here. Return to innocence. So whenever there's a power outage, that's sort of what we have to do, right? Return to innocence. Because suddenly we don't have electricity. Suddenly we don't have running water. We don't have maybe even gasoline. We don't have anything. And we have to start from scratch. So that's where we are. It is time for joys and concerns and sorrows and other things that we have. Before I get started with that, though, I think I need to get a little water. So let me go get a little glass of water and I'll be right back. Maybe let's do some deep breathing while I do that. So take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. A deep breath in. And a deep breath out. And let's do one more. Deep breath in. And a deep breath out. Okay, so here's my water. Okay. Yeah, so a joy for right now is that my house was not hit by any fallen trees. In fact, the building here was not hit by any falling trees. So I am grateful and thankful and joyful. I'm all of those fools. That I am okay and survived the storm, and so did my shelter. So I'm really excited about that. That's a joy. Then another joy is that I could make coffee this morning in my house because I have a little fire pit where I can make a fire and heat up water and survive. So that was very exciting. That's another joy. Then I have some concerns. Being a woman who's on her own, no husband, I feel that a lot of the men out there in business and otherwise are just trying to get as much money out of me as possible. I hate to say it, but I think it's true. So this is a joy of concern for not only myself being abused by men, but all women, especially, well, even when you're in a relationship, there's a lot of abuse. And then when you're out of a relationship, there's a lot of abuse from different other sources. And, I don't know why men feel the need to take advantage I don't think it happens in every culture, and I don't think every man does it. I think some men don't realize they're doing it, and I think some men realize they're doing it and are doing it on purpose. People seem to like to hurt people who are naive or ill-informed or whatever the case may be. So, this is a candle of concern. Taking advantage of people is not acceptable anywhere in my mind. I don't think it's acceptable. It's acceptable to be kind and gentle. And you know what? So that's my concern. I'm going to go over the simple version of our principles. Because this is what I think all of us should be focused on. And this is what I bring to the table wherever I am. So I will hold this is a candle of help, of joy for the UU principles, Unitarian Universalist principles. So each person is important. And I recently am being reminded of that. Maybe I'll talk about that later. General welfare, yeah. Be kind in all you do. We are free to learn together and search for what is true. All people need a voice. Build a fair and peaceful world. We care for our earth. So these are all Unitarian Universalist principles that I follow and that I think are important for life. So I can only recommend them not only now, but always. Get the flowers in a good way, so you can enjoy them too a little bit. So thank you, Unitarian Universalists, for your open and friendly and good idea community. So I guess it's a candle of thank you. Yeah. Yep. Can you see that one? All right, so let me put that back. And then here, this is a candle for your concern, sorrow, joy, whatever the case may be. This is for you. This is your candle. The candle for all the joys or concerns or sorrows or gratefulness that are out there that are not shared. You can also share your joys and concerns in the comments if you want. Feel free. Okay, so let me look something up here. I'll be right with you. So, general welfare, self-care is not selfish. That's what we're doing. This event is not live, it's pre-recorded, yes. It will originate on my YouTube channel. And take care of yourself. You matter. I may have to get some more water. But it's nice that there's water here. So I have my Singing the Living Tradition book here, and I'm going to open it up. Okay, cannot. So this one is not opening up to or maybe it did. I shouldn't do that. I should read what was opening. So the song that I opened up the book to originally is from the Singing the Living Tradition, number 239, Go Tell It on the Mountain. So maybe the egg makes sense now when I read this. Go tell it on the mountain, over the hills and everywhere. Go tell it on the mountain that Jesus Christ is born. I mean, you know, coming out of an egg, you're born. While shepherds kept their watch over silent flocks by night, behold, throughout the heavens there shone a holy light. Go tell it on the mountain, over the hills and everywhere. Go tell it on the mountain that Jesus Christ is born. The shepherds feared and trembled when, lo, above the earth rang out the angel chorus that hailed the baby's birth. Go tell it on the mountain, over the hills and everywhere. Go tell it on the mountain that Jesus Christ is born. Down in a lowly manger, the humble babe was born, and God sent the salvation that blessed Christ Christmas morn. So maybe this is really Christmas because of the eggs and being born. Words and music from an African American spiritual, and it's from 1750 to 1875. So, is this the real Christmas? Maybe. I don't know. I mean, there is not a lot of proof for Jesus. There's a lot of proof about believing in Jesus, but there's not a lot of proof that Jesus was, especially not in childhood. And there's no real proof of angels, and there's no proof of God. So, you know, the fact that I opened up to a Christmas song is funny, I think, especially when today is supposed to be the day he rises from the dead. So he died. think I'm living in the mountains and the hills. And so I think it's more that Earth is coming back, that the, shepherds, the sheep are having babies, and it's the rebirth of the Earth is what it's really about. And so, yeah, the Earth is rebirthing, is born again. I think that's what we can take from that. So, I don't have my Louise Hay book with me at the moment in my hand, so I'm not going to run out to my car again and delay everything. So let's see. Each person is important. That's the first UU principle, and it's one that I often go back to, and it gets me in trouble sometimes. I was talking about abuse before by a lot of men and organizations who are, businesses who like to take advantage of people who don't know what they're doing. And because each person is important, I keep opening the door again to people who I probably shouldn't open the door to. And this is where, I keep putting myself in jeopardy. And this is not the best thing, but it is something, that is true. We are all important. But, you're more important than everyone else to you. And the other people are important to themselves. So we need to remember that we are important to ourselves first. Each one of us is important. And this renewal time, this rebirth, this spring, as it's blooming, is a good time to remember to bloom ourselves. That we have to, before we can focus on others, we have to focus on ourselves. And, I see that often everywhere, that people sometimes put others first. And I suppose there are moments where one might do that, but it shouldn't be your regular lifestyle, because that also invites abuse. And so we need to start putting ourselves first, focusing on us and our world, that the things that are important to us, and don't lose ourselves for what is important to other people. Because our interests are also important, and we need to continue our own journey. So don't give up your most important journey piece just because the people around you don't like it. And so I have put myself most important in my life right now. And it's good to do that. But there's also time that once you put yourself first, that putting others now in your space is okay. And I've had to come to terms with some things in my life lately that have been bugging me for a long time. And I think I've got them squared away in my mind, and it's now time to move forward. But it's one of those things where you have to forgive yourself for trusting people and situations. And forgive yourself for it. You don't have to forgive the person or the situation. You just have to forgive yourself for trusting. Then, also with the Unitarian Universalist principles, I always get stuck with like the first two and I don't move forward usually. So I'm going to move forward and search for what is true. You know, back in like the peer pressure that often religion gives makes people tell lies. Peer pressure to be accepted by your parents or your neighbors or your religion or your company or whatever, and it makes you tell lies. Back in the 50s and the 60s, there were a lot of lies being told. And it was excused because, a lot of the lies, at least around me, were made by Christians. And in Christianity, all you have to do is then confess your sins, say a few Hail Marys and a few Our Fathers, and you're done. You're healed. You're no longer a sinner, or you're a sinner. I mean, apparently in Christianity we're all sinners, but you're not like, what is that? I got some sort of hair sticking up. You're not unworthy anymore somehow. So it is good to tell the truth. That's true. And if you've made lies in the past, to tell the truth, depending on the lie, can be very difficult. So, I mean, truthfully, it's best to be truthful. Just tell the truth. Just fess up to it, have that difficult conversation, and tell the truth. And when you do that, you prove you're an adult in society and that you can be an adult. If you go around telling lies and continue to lie, and you never grow up. And it shows, because you have to make other lies to hide your lie, and then you have to keep that lie going all the time, and then there's just constant lying. And this is something that has occurred in my life, that I have lots of lies that I've been told by people I trusted. And I guess I thought people grew up once and were honest, but I guess not. We still have too many Christians, I suppose, going around telling lies because they can. Especially in Catholicism, you go to confession regularly to confess your sins. And, I used to be Catholic, so I know how it goes. And I remember my first communion, and before first communion, you have to go to first confession. so you can receive the body of Christ, supposedly. And, when you're 7 or 8 or 9, whenever it happens, I forgot, what kind of sins are you doing? I know I struggled. I'm like, what kind of sin? What do I say? I swore a couple of times, and I said, talked back to my parents. I don't know. I was always making stuff up because, I didn't sin. So, how can you ask like a young child like that? It's almost like telling them you have to sin. You must be a sinner. And that plants a seed to go sin. It's a stupid thing. Sorry, it is stupid. And I am honest and I'm truthful. And if you want fake news, fake ideas, then go to the other religions. But if you want truth, then you're at the right place. So, yeah, it's stupid to insist that young children have anything to confess. It's really stupid. So, and search for what is true. Yeah, I'm constantly doing that, searching for what is true. And I've found so many lies, so much fake news, so much fraud and manipulation. It's scary. But that's what you get when you deal with Christians, because they can't face the truth and they won't take responsibility for their actions. They will blame it on the devil, they will blame it on everybody else but themselves. And I'm sorry if you're Christian and you're listening to this, but I'm right. So I'm done with people who refuse to speak the truth, who refuse to see the truth, and who insist on depending on an imaginary person to solve their problems. The only one who can solve your problems is you. You are in charge of your life. It is time to grow up and take responsibility for your actions, all of them, good and bad. And I recommend that you stop doing the bad and go to the good. It's for your welfare. It's for my welfare. It's for all of our welfare. It's enough lies and cheating and just one more time kind of stuff. If you don't like abuse, then don't give abuse. Then another principle here is all people need a voice. Yep. And that's what we don't have either. I'm trying to give a voice to the voiceless, to the mothers out there with my campaign, to the voters out there with my campaign, with election reform, and getting mothers a real salary where they can be mothers stress-free, raise the next generation. But I can't even get to the mothers before we get a real election. And again, integrity goes with responsibility. And if you're not being responsible and taking charge of your own actions, then you definitely don't have integrity. You have lies and deceit, and it's not healthy. So I'm working on giving all of us a voice, but I have so many bad actors working against me and trying to, my house has been invaded by, I don't know, all sorts of people trying to find information on me that they can use to discredit me and to judge me and all sorts of stuff. And I'm tired of it. Running for politics, you are just opening the door for all these like secret agents, FBI, CIA, NSA, Secret Service. They've all been through my stuff trying to find out what they can get on me to get me out of their way. I mean, the Republicans and the Democrats are behind it, and it's unacceptable. And a lot of the people in both of those parties are very Christian oriented, and they think that they're doing right by going through my stuff and finding whatever they can on me. And so far, they haven't found anything that they can use. So that's the good news, because there's nothing to find. Nothing. So I'm just tired of it, and I want to bring a voice to the voiceless. Mothers are too busy raising the next generation to even think about themselves. That's why we have to help them, and it's called general welfare. And we are doing a lousy job. Congress is doing a lousy job of organizing it and helping them. So far, they've kept them in poverty and tortured them in many ways with stupid rules and regulations that are luckily now gone. But it's, we cannot have a country if votes by citizens are going uncounted. And as you know, my vote went uncounted in this last election. I was there. I had my passport and my driver's license, and West Virginia said, no, we're not going to count it. You didn't want to vote because I was unregistered. I didn't want to vote, apparently. So shame on you, the Christians behind the canceling of my vote and many other votes. And I know it's Christians because they're the ones in power in our country, and they have decided to turn our country into some sort of Christian country, and it's not acceptable. We are a religious-free country. You are allowed to believe in Christianity and your imaginary people if you want, but you do not have the right to force your imaginary people on us. I don't want it. And I know others don't want it either. So I am working hard to give a voice to the voiceless, and I'm one of you. My vote was canceled. It was thrown out. They didn't count it. Shame on them. But that's what the principles say. Now, something happened, I think, with my phone, and not everything is, I don't know if you'll be able to read that or not, but anyway. Build a fair and peaceful world. That's what I'm doing. And we care for our earth. It's Earth Day this week. So don't forget to pick up some trash or plant a tree or something. I think later in the week it is Arbor Day in the USA. So really plant a tree. We need trees. Plant them. And, today in Morgantown, West Virginia, we're waking up to no power and a lot of downed trees, and that's what I experienced. So anyway, let's see what other wisdom will come out. Commitment and actions. Words words and deeds of prophetic women and men. I'm going to read this one. Number 559, 559, in the commitment and action section of Singing the Living Tradition. Someday, men and women will rise. They will reach the mountain peak. They will meet big and strong and free, ready to receive, to partake and to bask in the golden rays of love. What fancy, what imagination, what poetic genius can foresee the potentialities of such a force in the life of men and women? Emma Goldman wrote that. Okay, so it's coming to an end of the service. I'm going to be here for quite a while. I'm going to make some lunch and color some eggs later. I'm going to try this system that I learned in Switzerland. It's, if you do it correctly, it creates really beautiful eggs. And so far, I've not really managed it 100%, but I'm going to give it a try. So let's see what happens. But before that, it is time for my affirmation that we always do to close out the session. It's in the affirmation section. It's by Edward Everett Hale. It's number 457, and it is called I Am Only One. I am only one. Oh, I should say, I'm going to read it first, and then I'm going to read it again slower so that you can repeat after me. So just listen at first. So, I am only one, but still I am one. I cannot do everything, but still I can do something. And because I cannot do everything, I will not refuse to do the something that I can do. So now it's your turn. I am only one. But still, I am one. I cannot do everything, but still, I can do something. And because I cannot do everything, I will not refuse to do the something that I can do. All right. So that is the end of the service for today. I wish you to care for our earth. That's the last principle. This week, it's Earth Week, I guess, because Earth Day is, I think, on Tuesday, and then Friday is Arbor Day. So, like I said, get out in nature and plant a tree or plant many trees. We need them. And that's about it for now. So I'm going to turn the light out. But again, the candle, the light will be out, but it is in us always, in our hearts and minds, and shine bright in the good deeds that you do. Thanks for stopping by. Peace be with you.